Futures and forex trading contains substantial risk and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please take a moment to review the full disclaimer. Hello traders, Kevin from chartspots.com. In today's video we will be briefly looking back what happened last week, especially on the ECB day, and reviewing our trade plan, which was quite spot on, I must say. That was nice to see. So after reviewing past week, we look forward to the coming week and see what clues we can gather from the action that happened and what we expect going into next week. So with that said, let's move on to the charts. We're looking at the weekly chart of the DAX. This week is represented here. We're time framing up again. And we set a new all-time high, which initially got rejected, and there was a slight selling pressure during the ECB day. So let's review that day first. Here is the actual trading day of the ECB, and as some of you might have seen, I had posted a trading plan for the ECB also in a YouTube video. So that kind of played out as I expected. We did open a little bit lower, and so we did briefly test below this line before we came back up, and then I expected the price to retreat to the POC of this distribution, and that's basically what we got. Then the press conference started, and we started selling off and looking to the actual day. So we started selling off indeed from that point of control. We put in a very weak low here. These are 30-minute bars, so that's definitely an area that looks suspect when you see that, especially on a high sell volume. Having an exact equal low tends to be broken, which is indeed what we got. Where did we go? To this POC. At the time being, it was also this naked POC that was still left, and that was exactly the target I had put for my trade plan should we break down. In case it was upwards, I was expecting a new all-time high. So that was quite a good day. Afterwards we started channeling up a bit like that. Very low participation. The volume was quite okay, but the price couldn't get anywhere. We had a very balanced profile by the close of the session, which is around here. And then as the US continued its rally on Friday, closing at all-time highs, it dragged the DAX with it higher in the electronic overnight session, which is already quite interesting where the price is right now. So levels I will be looking at closely this week is this high we put in at the ECB day and the low. Basically I expect, should we visit this area again, that we move through it and move into this distribution, potentially testing no highs again. So that's a key level. Also important for this week, let's increase the profile. So we see that we have a clear cutoff LVN up here, and we're starting to fill in this area here. So could be that throughout the week we first fill this in further and then start testing upwards again. If we cannot hold above this level and we go down with sufficient force, test the ECB low, then we have the weekly low quite close. This is the actually not the prior week, since that was the ECB low, but that's the week before, which is quite close. So should we get volume going through here, you might get some stops being triggered, bringing us lower on the profile. Obviously the key target then becomes this high volume distribution down here, which when we were looking at the weekly profile is this POC. So if we reach that level, if selling pressure continues, I'm guessing there is a lot of stops down here as well, so we might be having a quick flash down, but not that downwards is my primary expectation. It is not, considering that the US market closed the week at all-time highs, considering that on Friday we were quite balanced. It does mean there is some energy here, so could be that we see some good range on Monday. On the other hand, that's to be seen. What's important to look at is when we enter the market on Monday, of course, where do we open and what kind of participation do you see in the first couple of let's say an hour or two. If there is longer term time frame buyers in there, you will notice it. It looks a bit like this, which tends to give you a trend day. If on the other hand you get this choppy mess we got, I believe that was Tuesday, as we gapped up, it was clear this was lower time frame trading, so I was expecting the a small pullback, closing the physical gap we had from the overnight high, and then the day before the ECB we sold off further. So that's really the things to look for. Who is in the market? Who am I competing with? Is it the shorter time frame traders, or is the big money playing along? You see it in the volume, you see it in price appreciation or depreciation, you see it in the rotations that are happening throughout the session. So those are all important clues to look for. So overall, I'll be looking for these ECB levels closely and adapt my plans according to what happens around those. So with that said, let's still have a look at the economic news on tap for next week. For Europe, we have a busy day, especially on Wednesday, with the unemployment change and the CPI coming out. So unemployment change for Germany. And that's also the day of the FOMC, also pending home sales. FOMC statement is released after market close for Europe. So you will still have the overnight session if you want to participate in that. But if that's the case, I would suggest to look at a more liquid product than the DAX in the after hours. So yeah, that's the main important day. Then on Thursday, manufacturing PMI, and also for the UK, Bank of England speech on Tuesday. So seeing there is no real market moving economic news on Monday, it might be a quiet day, but let's see how we open, where we open, and where we go. So with that said, good luck, have a good trading week, and keep an eye out on the channel as I might post some further updates. See ya!